Exercise 31, Working with Forms, part of the Word 2007 Core Exam Preparation Guide, brought to you by Shiftkey Solutions. In this exercise, we'll be talking about using a form and the form controls within that form. Okay, let's begin. Step 1 of exercise 31 tells us to open the invoice form. Next, we're going to come up to our Developer tab, and then we're going to come over to our Controls group and click our Design Mode. When I turn this on, or click it, I can then see all of the form controls that are within this document. One thing to note is if I wish to modify any of these form controls, I'll simply go to it. If I double click, it'll open up a Text Form Field Options dialog box. Here is where I can go and modify this form. I'll notice that the number 10 in the form translates from here where it says default number. So I can change this if I like to 5 or 20 or whatever number I'd like to appear in here by default. In addition, I can modify the type. It's currently set as number, but I can change it accordingly here. I can also put criteria restraints on the form control, namely maximum length, or I can also format the number. So I'm going to click cancel. From here, I'm going to turn my design mode off. If I come back up to my design mode, click it, and it'll switch back to my document. Now that we've looked at the way in which to modify and identify the forms, the form controls on this form, now we want to convert the form so that we can send this file out and have end users enter data in here. However, we don't want anyone to be able to select any of the text and maybe change the fonts or anything like that. Currently I can do that. End users should only be focused on or concerned with is entering data on the form. So let's narrow those options down. The way we're going to do that is by using the Protect Document feature here in Microsoft Word. And now that I'm in my Developer tab, I can see that I have it in the Protect group. I have my Protect Document option available. If I don't have my Developer tab open, I can come to my Review tab, come over to my Protect group and click Protect Document. It's the same thing. From here, I'll click Restrict Formatting and Editing from my list. And then it's going to open up my Restrict Formatting and Editing task pane. The things I need to be concerned with in this task pane is the allow only this type of editing in this document. If I click this drop down, I have some options here. The one I'm concerned with is filling in forms. Just as long as that's selected, I'm alright. I'm going to click Yes, Start Enforcing Protection. When I do, I get my dialog box that appears here, Start Enforcing Protection. And I'm going to save this without a password just for right now. I'm going to click OK. And when I do, you'll notice that my insertion point moved from the end of my invoice text down and it selected the first form. As you can clearly see, I can no longer select anything on this document other than these form controls or fields. So let's fill some of this in just to get a little feel for how this works. This is a date form fill field, actually. Say that 10 times fast. So if I click my drop down here, I can scroll through using my arrow keys here to find the month and year, or I can just simply click today, and when I do it populates there. Now I can put my cursor off to the side and simply press tab. When I do, it takes me to the next form fill field, and then I'm going to type in under the attention, I'll type Mr. Stephen Jones. I'll press tab and then type in Sacramento Suppliers and then press tab. I'll then type the address. Once finished typing the address, I'll press tab again. It takes me down to the next date. From here I can type the date in Or, again, I can click my drop down and choose today. Either way works just fine. Otherwise, I'll press tab again, and here's my description form control, in which case it won't allow me to type anything into this field because it's a drop down list. If I click the drop down list, here are the options to choose from. We could choose tulips or what have you. Let's choose crocus. I feel like I'm pronouncing that wrong, but that's my closest guess. So from here, we'll come over to unit price. Click inside the unit price and put in $1.50. And I'm using my arrow keys to move around in this. Arrow key left, arrow key right, and I'll just press delete one time. And then I'll replace that with a 50. So I'm going to put $1.50 here. And then I'm going to click over the quantity and change that from 10. I press backspace to remove that 1. And then I'll put 50. When I'm done, I'll press tab. Now you'll notice something. I want you to look closely at this. From my insertion point being in quantity, I press tab. We're going to watch this calculation occur. Look at that. Who would have imagined that we could do calculations like this in Microsoft Word? Pretty fancy. Well, that was real easy. That concludes exercise 31, working with forms. Thanks for joining me. And that concludes all of the exercises in MS Word 2007 Core Exam Preparation Guide. Thank you. And if you didn't know how to do these things before, now you have a better understanding of it. And I strongly encourage you to share this knowledge with anyone willing to learn it. Take care.